All right, test 1, 2, 3, everything should be in focus. Here I am. I'm using the Canon camera app because I'm using my old camera to record myself, the M6 Mark II. This is the third time I've tried to record this video, but I think I've finally figured it out. This is like the third setup that I've had to record myself, and I figured that this is the best looking one. So this is Mark I of my Sony FX3 build. You can call it a cinema rig or a production rig, call it whatever you want. A lot of people, they're like, the FX3 isn't a real cinema camera, but the FX3 has the cinema line on it for Sony. That can be marketing, you call it whatever you want. This is a step after my All Roads Lead to FX3 video, which is a introduction and a small story about how I got to the FX3, and the title is kind of touching on how it feels like a lot of people follow that same path where they end up getting an FX3 when they want to focus on video. I know some people do go to Blackmagic and very little go to Canon, and a lot more people go to Lumix Panasonic nowadays just because of that really good price to performance. A lot of people in the new filmmaking generation seem to be going towards the FX3 and also the FX30. The price to performance and also, you know, Netflix approved, used in the creator, all that stuff. I've always wanted an FX3, so this is just going to happen eventually. I actually more specifically wanted to get an FX30 because I was a believer in crop sensor or APS-C, because I was like, it's Super 35, they actually use that in movies. But I really wanted to get the full frame look, and then once I got the camera in and started using it, I was really happy with it, and I was glad that I went with the full frame, even though it's more than double the price of the FX30. So let's get started. Here it is. Here's what you get for $3,900 is the camera body, a battery, which is what we're going to use, and the XLR audio handle. Go ahead and put the battery in there. That's actually what we're going to use. I own 3 of these for when I'm running and gunning. That's what I used at Rolex 24 this year at Daytona. And I honestly only needed 1.5 batteries to shoot like an entire day. And I had 3 just in case. So here we go. Here's what you get for $3,900 just before tax. Tighten that as much as I can. Boom. And this is the start of the rig. And there we go. So this is what you get. Is the FX3 with the XLR audio handle. Fantastic. By the way, a great package. You know, you can actually use the handle to hold the camera and stuff. Next is the storage. So the storage that I use for internal recording are 2 Lexar 2000X Lexar Professional SD cards. They are V90 rated. And I also have a pair of V60 rated ones just because they're so cheap to have as backups. And you can still record in 422 10-bit with V60, just in a different format. I forgot what the limit is, but 2 128 gigabyte V90 cards to go into the 2 dual slots. And then I have 2 V60 128 gigabytes as backup. So if I'm not using an external monitor, that's what I'm using. So next, of course, you're going to need a lens. And this is a budget rig, so everything is going to be like the cheaper option. Of course, the FX3 is a cheaper option to real cinema cameras and things like that, but it's not the absolute budget option. But here is the Sigma Art 24-70 f2.8 zoom lens for the Sony E-mount. This is the cheaper option or alternative to the G Master version. And I was like, yeah, save some money there. I really liked the picture that came out of the 24-70 from Sigma. Whenever I watch videos of it, I was really close to getting the 28-70, but that lens just did not put out as good of a picture. Still, that lens looked really good for the money, and it's something that I considered, but the few extra $100 I thought was worth it. The Sigma 24-70 is still less than half the price of the G Master, I think, off the top of my head. I'll correct myself in post if I'm wrong. So here you go. This is exactly what I started with, the lens with the camera with 2 V90 SD cards to record in 422 10-bit. And I was pretty happy. You know, you go out and you record, no filters or anything, and the and the image that comes out of this is amazing. I've never used a camera that could just deliver an image right out of camera that looked like a movie, as long as it was half well lit and correctly exposed and focused. Everything that comes out of this kit here, the lens and the body, just looks like a movie, and I'm really happy with that, and I could use it like that for forever. With one extra thing is, since the XLR audio handle is an audio handle, you need a microphone. And this is the Sony ECM-XM1, which I got for $100 from Amazon. They don't sell these brand new anymore. I don't think they manufacture them. So when you go on eBay and Amazon and wherever, they're all sold as spare parts. I think even like AliExpress. They're all real, as far as I know. So the one that I ordered was labeled as spare parts, and it didn't even say on the listing that it came with the little wind filter, but it did. So that was a nice surprise. And it came in like sealed in a box. Of course, it wasn't like retail packaging. It came in bulk packaging, but it was brand new, never used, no scratches or anything. And it fits perfectly into the XLR handle, because it seems like the XLR handle was made for this microphone, and the microphone was made for the XLR handle. So now everything is plugged in. Boom, cable holders under here to keep everything clean, and there you go. This is a fantastic setup. You have multiple batteries and some multiple SD cards, and this is all you need. It's not going to impress anybody, but this is good just to run and gun. Honestly, I could just stop here, right? But that's not what the video is for. So we're going to keep building. We're going to keep building on top of this. The next thing that I'd do is make this XLR handle more sturdy, because when you hold it, you realize this thing is mostly plastic and it'll crack. It does not feel that great to hold. You lose confidence in it as time goes on. So I have this LEFTFOTO FX3 which, as you can see, is like a brace for this XLR handle. It also has some 1/4, 3/8, and hot shoe mounts. There's only one hot shoe mount to connect stuff. This is what you'll need. So let's go straight on top of the XLR handle on the mounting points. And there you go. It's both an extension and a brace. And of course it has all the mounting points you might need, which has been very useful. You just kind of need to keep an Allen key with you at all times in case you need to tighten it. But there you go. It's on there. It's longer, right? And also it just feels a lot better when you grab it. I have a lot more confidence grabbing this with this brace on here. It feels a lot more sturdy. The brace definitely takes some of that stress. So next, this is something which I honestly didn't need in this build. I bought it before I fully built it. And then after everything was said and done, I ended up not really needing it. But this is a camera cage. Just like the brace, the camera cage is something that I bought not from SmallRig. I noticed a lot of people build their rigs out of SmallRig. SmallRig feels like a name brand at this point for camera accessories, because they're like the most expensive option, and the main, like, they usually make the first version of every part, and then every other Chinese company is a copycat or like some variation of it. But this is a Sirui version of the FX3 FX3 Cage, and I bought it because it was the cheapest one, and it came with this strap. And there was someone's review who I watched, I forgot his name, but I like his content. He makes a lot of budget camera gear content, but he really liked this cage for his FX30, and so I bought this one. A cage is a cage. As long as you get one with good reviews and the mounting points that you want, then you'll be happy. So yeah, Sirui cage, just goes straight on, just like any other cage. Nothing special and nothing bad about it. After I built out this rig fully for the first time, I looked at the build and I realized that I did not even utilize the camera cage at all, really. So this is somewhat optional. Since I have it, I'm just going to use it. And I also like the little strap on the side, but of course you could just buy your own strap. For the most part, I have no interest in taking the cage off anyway under normal use, because I like the weight that gets added to the FX3. Of course, a lot of people complain about weight and things like that. And I did like that the FX3 was light, but as I kept using it handheld, I noticed that it was like shaky footage because it doesn't hold its own. So here you go. You got the cage and the brace so far. Looks really good. Looks more professional as you keep adding stuff on. And that's the point. That's the point. So this next thing is one of my favorite things, just because it looks so professional. Is the matte box. This is the SmallRig mini matte box. It's the cheapest matte box you can buy. That's 95 millimeters, and 95 millimeters is just for future proofing, so I can adapt it to any lens that I might use in the future. Unfortunately, my Sigma 60-600 has like a 105 millimeter thread or something like that. It's massive. So I can't use this on the Sigma 60-600, but I can use it here. This is 82 millimeters on the Sigma 24-70. And this just makes everything look more professional. And this is also made to be used with any of your already existing circular filters. And I do use some budget circular filters here. And the budget circular filters that I use are first my black diffusion filters from K&F Concept, which are, you know, the budget versions of real black diffusion filters from, I think, Tiffin. I don't actually know the name brand. And also the Peter McKinnon black Promus filters. So these are black diffusion Nano K series filters from K&F. These are 82 millimeter. I got the 2-pack, which is the 1/4 strength and the 1/8 strength. In my Road to FX3 video, everything that came out of the FX3 used a 1/4 diffusion filter. But of course, just like normally, just for everyday things, you just go ahead and add a 1/8 diffusion filter. It makes the image slightly softer, which is needed because the FX3, even though it's 12 megapixels, it's still pretty sharp out of camera. So the 1/8 really brings off some of that sharpness. It would honestly be worse if I was using a G Master lens, because those are really sharp photo lenses. But the Sigma is a little bit softer. Artistically, my own taste, I really like how the 1/4 one looks, but for now we're just gonna put the 1/8 on there. It's the best just for general everything. And then next is this variable ND filter, which is from Neewer. Neewer is a budget brand. This is ND3 to ND1000, which I don't think is the largest range. It's just the cheapest 82 millimeter ND filter I could find. This thing is the pinnacle of okay. I don't fully recommend this, but I also don't have any experience with other variable ND filters. But, you know, I get that weird X pattern sometimes, depending on the focal length on this ND filter, specifically like on 24 millimeters. And that's a no-no. So here's the adapter. This is a 82 millimeter to 95 millimeter adapter, which actually came with the SmallRig mini matte box. And this just goes directly onto your lens or the filter that you have on the lens. So boom, adapter goes on there. And then the ND filter goes onto the adapter. And you need the adapter because the matte box is 95 millimeters. And of course, 95 millimeters does not clamp onto 82 millimeters. So now I got the adapter and the ND filter. And the last step here is just to put on the matte box. The matte box is not something I enjoyed putting on, but it looks cool. When I got the matte box and I showed my family the rig, they were like, that is a cinema camera now. That looks so professional. I showed my friends, like, just adding a matte box onto the rig, and it's true. It just makes you like respect what you see in front of you. It looks like Hollywood. And that's what I always thought for the past few years until I bought this matte box for this lens. I was like, that's all this is? This is not even that cool. So usually filters slide into a real matte box, but this is just a little small one, a budget one. So you use the variable ND filter that you have on the front of your lens that you adapted. And yeah, there you go, variable ND filter. But as you see, the rig with this little mini matte box is already like, wow, that's a cinema camera. Like, you would think this is a cinema camera if you just looked at it, but it's not. It's not a cinema camera, or it is, whatever you want to call it, whatever, semantics, right? But there you go, mini matte box, looks really cool. So now next, we need to put on the base plate and these 15 millimeter carbon fiber rods. So this base plate is from Neewer. It was either this one or the SmallRig one, which the SmallRig one was smaller, so I got the Neewer one. And the Neewer one was cheaper anyway, so that's a W. It's a win. Take your base plate and screw it into the bottom of the cage. Eyeballing this is something that I wish I was better at. So there you go. Base plate goes on the bottom here, and that's just to hold these 15mm rods. The 15mm rods support the matte box and also hold the V-mount battery plate, which we'll go over in the future, and also a follow focus if I ever decide to upgrade to a cinema lens, which I honestly will do in the future because cinema lenses are sick. These are carbon fiber 10-inch 15mm rods from some no-name or Amazon FBA brand. It was either these or the SmallRig 9-inch carbon fiber rods, and I measured out my rig, and I was like, I need 10 inches, not 9 inches, and I was right. It ended up being perfect. It's because the Sigma lens is so huge. If you had a smaller lens, you could go for smaller rods. And boom, here you go. Put the rods on there. Looks even more professional. Wow, look at these rods. Looks really nice, carbon fiber. No SmallRig stamp on them, which is one of the reasons why I bought them, is because there is no branding stamp on them. The reason why you need the rods is for either a follow focus, which would go right here, so you can adjust the follow focus on your cinema lens, but also to mount the V-mount battery on it. So the battery plate that I have is this Sirui V-mount battery plate. As you see, that has little holes for the rods. This is the cheapest V-mount battery plate I could find. It's super thin and it's also blue, and I love that. I love having accents of color on this build because everything is black. But before you put this plate on, you gotta flip your screen out so that you can use the screen. The screen is important still, even if you're gonna use an external monitor. Tighten this as much as you can because the V-mount battery is really heavy, so don't want this sliding off. It's gotta be sturdy. Now, we're gonna take the V-mount battery and put it on there. So this V-mount battery is the budget option. This is a 99 watt hour Neewer battery. When I bought it, it was $100. As I'm recording this video, it's $124. So the V-mount battery is going to both charge the internal battery of the FX3 and also power the external monitor or recorder, whatever you're using. And this is like less than half the price of the SmallRig version and has the same features. It shows the wattage and your battery percentage left and the voltage on everything. Really nice, really nice. So this goes just on here on the back. Oops, I actually mounted that wrong. Don't be like me, guys. A little bit clumsy. There you go, batteries on the back. So now the rig is huge. You look at the rig and you're like, wow, this thing looks amazing. The next thing here, which I should have actually put on earlier, is this is some kind of base plate. I forgot what this is, but it's compatible with like every tripod. So you need one of these plates so you can easily take your camera rig on and off of your tripods. My Sirui tripod here in the back, which is a budget tripod, actually came with this and the part of the fluid head. I think fluid heads usually come with these, but that tripod was a budget tripod and it came with all this, and I'm really happy with that. I'll make a review about that later, about that tripod. But so this plate goes onto the bottom of the base plate here. So now I got this here on the bottom. You can see, so put it on the table, everything's stable, it's good. It'll also go on the tripod. Next is the external monitor, which is pretty important because the screen on the FX3 is not the best, but it's good for what it is. You know, for absolute professional jobs, you're going to want to get a real external monitor. The way that I'm mounting the monitor is going to be on this brace XLR handle extension here on the top. And I bought two different monitor mounts, and I actually like the cheaper one here. So the one on the left here is one that a lot of people use, which is a hot shoe external monitor mount from SmallRig. It's their newest version. It's $25. I bought this one first and decided that I don't like how tall the rig is when I put it in the hot shoe mount up here on the XLR extension. So I ended up buying this Sirui 3/8 inch screw mount with this Alexa mounting points. And I like this a lot better because I can put it wherever I want. There's three 3/8 inch mounts on this handle extension, one up here and two down here. I'd like to put it right here on this middle one. It keeps the center of gravity perfect. And it also, my eyes just kind of naturally like the position of the external monitor when I put it there. Probably have to tighten that every so often, but we all got to deal with that anyway. So here's the external monitor that I use. This is the Atomos Ninja New. So this is the new Atomos Ninja. A lot of people use the Atomos Ninja V, and the main differences is updated operating system and you don't have to pay extra to record in H.265 and ProRes RAW. So in the future, recording in ProRes RAW is something that may be a possibility depending on who I'm working for. And H.265 is nice and compressed, you know, the whole thing. So I wanted to future-proof myself and get a Atomos Ninja New. I have tested it. I can record in ProRes RAW externally using this with the FX3. Didn't have to pay extra for it. So the storage that I'm using for this is not one of the Atomos Ninja SSDs. What I'm actually using is this Samsung SSD. It's a 1 terabyte 870 EVO, which is $75. It goes straight into this bracket here, and this is like the minimal SSD you can use with the Atomos Ninja for external recording. And then it just slides right in here in the back. Now this just mounts up here on the top. Atomos Ninja is all screwed in. And now we need to connect it to the FX3 and the V-mount battery. The HDMI connects to the Atomos Ninja out, or sorry, the Atomos Ninja in and the FX3 out here on the side. And now you can power it one of two ways. I got the Atomos Ninja from B&H Photo, and on B&H Photo you had two options, either with or without combo kit, and the combo kit costs the same as without, so I got with the combo kit. B&H Photo does that a lot. So it comes with this kit. It's a carrying case for the Atomos Ninja, and it comes with a lot of stuff in it. And some of the things that comes in it which are important are these two batteries for the Atomos Ninja. So if you don't want to power it through VTAP, you can do it through these. I do not use these batteries for the Atomos Ninja. And what I do use is this cable that came with the accessory kit, which is a D-tap to the Atomos Ninja DC adapter battery eliminator. I'm gonna screw this D-tap cable into the battery eliminator. It screws in there, so it's nice and secure. I have a lot of confidence in it, which is good, so that my external monitor doesn't just disconnect and power off. That would be terrible. This goes up here into where the battery would go. Beautiful. And then this D-tap goes into the D-tap on the V-mount battery. You gotta go in there until it clicks. Boom, nice and snug. It's like putting RAM into your computer. And you can even tuck this cable, putting this cable into this cable thing here on the side. There we go. So the D-tap battery connects to the battery eliminator on the Atomos Ninja. And then to charge the FX3 internal battery, I'm using this 1-inch, no-name brand, right-angle USB-C to USB-C cable. So one USB-C, of course, goes into the V-mount battery, and then the other USB-C goes into the FX3, because the FX3 has both USB-C and mini USB, micro USB, one of those. And so here on the side, this cable here, D-tap to Atomos Ninja, and then here on the other side is the USB-C to USB-C, which would be right here. There you go, right here on the FX3. And the battery is powered on. So now let's turn everything on. So push the power button here on the Atomos Ninja, turn on the FX3. Oh, my camera is overheating here. I better keep an eye on that. You know how it is. No internal fans on cameras recording at 4K. It's gonna overheat. All right, my camera here, good old Canon M6 Mark II, just overheated while I was trying to show off my use of the camera. So this camera is pretty much built, and I can record with it like this, have a view of the 1000 nits monitor, or whatever monitor you're using. You can use a cheaper monitor. The Atomos Ninja is where I chose to not skimp out pretty much on this whole build. Something about the Sony firmware doesn't let you record easily while using log shooting. Not the picture profiles, but actually the log shooting mode with the, Cine, Gamut, whatever, S-Log3. And so I want to record 4K internally to both of my SD cards and also 4K externally to my monitor, but that's not possible. So right now I record 4K internally, dual recording to both my SD card in 422 10-bit 4K, and externally you can only record in 422 10-bit 1080p. And I record in H.265, and the only reason why I'm recording it externally to the external monitor is so I can review a shot that I just did quickly, whether it's for myself or for a client if they want to see what the shot looks like. So that's the purpose of recording externally. It is useful, but you are not recording externally to use that footage to edit or use as a final product in a deliverable. All usable footage is going to be recorded internally, preview footage, and maybe you can even use them as proxies. It's recorded externally. Of course, if I'm recording ProRes RAW, I'm only recording externally, but I don't record ProRes RAW. You can only get like 40 minutes of ProRes RAW on 1 terabyte, I think. So it's really not even worth it. S-Log3 422 10-bit works fine. You know, I'm not shooting the creator or even any movie or documentary, right? And even if I did, I'd probably still shoot S-Log3 422 10-bit for documentary work and things like that. So yeah, here's the rig. There's just one more thing. The accessory kit that came with the Atomos Ninja from BestimeX also has this. And there you go. Everything is done here. It's completely ready to go out there and for you to look like you're recording for the news or your Netflix show or documentary or whatever. But in reality, you know, you're going to go out to go record for the local, whatever, corporation, social media and things like that. So, but this is still good. This is still fantastic. As you see, it looks very professional. I'm very happy with this rig. Very happy. It looks super good. The audio and video that comes out of it is fantastic because it's the FX3 plus the mic that's made for it. The only thing to keep in mind is that you're probably going to need like 3 VTAC batteries, or at least 2, maybe 4, depending on the job. But yeah, there you go. This is Mark 1 of the build. In the future, I will be upgrading the build with probably better lenses, maybe a better matte box, better ND filters, and things like that. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. I'm going to be documenting my journey to be a filmmaker with the FX3 and maybe whatever future cameras that I buy. It's been really inspired by the filmmakers on YouTube, and so I'm stepping into that space. And of course, I'll be having to freelance and make it look like that I'm a professional, which, as far as I am concerned, I am. So there you go. If any of my future clients or people watching this are interested in hiring me or watching this video, because I have this on my website, there you go. This is what you're paying for. Full quality experience, huge, massive cinema rig, the FX3 cinema line. So yeah, please subscribe. See y'all later. Have a great day or night, and ciao.